What's up? What's up? It's good. It's live the whole time. Show comments on stage. What's that? What's this? Show comments on stage. What is that? What's up? Hit that like button. Y'all coming to the building. Show comments on stage. What is that? Uh, it just came on right now. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, this is StreamYard though. This is StreamYard. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to come in here, y'all chop it up. King Cave, we got now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hit the like button. You know, this got banners and all that through this thing right here. Like and subscribe, you get me? You know, that's why I like the StreamYard, but it don't send out my notifications. That's the only problem. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Uh, so drop the link. You can see the comments. You can show on stage. You know what I'm saying? Uh, StreamYard. New comments. That's the link right there. Let's look. That's the link for the invite. Look in. Yeah, but juror number 25. You know what I'm saying? Juror number 25. You could click it. Authenticated with YouTube. Gonna add you to the stage.
What's the word, my G?
What's up? What's up, my guy?
Man, chilling, man. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just observing. You know what I mean? Observing. You know, how are things with you?
I'm good. I'm good. What state you from though?
Man, I'm from New York, but I'm living in Texas right now. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
how long you been living in Texas?
Shit, I've been living in Texas like probably say 6 years. 6 years. 6 years. Yeah.
Okay. And you
So
like it?
yeah, I love it, man. I love it, man. I
You
love it.
love
I
it?
love it. I love
Better
it.
than New York?
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure.
Ready? Hold up.
Yeah,
So all right, so I got a question. You was born and raised in New York, right?
yeah. And my
And
father
you
from Africa too.
huh?
My father from Africa, my mom from Queens.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
So you was born and raised here in New York,
yeah,
Queens, whatever, right?
yeah.
And then you just moved to Texas for about
Nah,
6 years ago, right?
yeah. So
And, and already you love it more than New York.
for
Already.
sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
some stuff in there. I
For
get it. Cause some people is like more for the country and the city. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly. And,
Yeah, so it's not yeah, where it's not where you're born, it's where you're at.
exactly. One of the things too I like about it's just first of all, there's no income tax. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
damn. Hold up, there's no taxes, you mean, right?
Yeah, there's no income tax in Texas, so that's why you heard Elon Musk moved from California to Texas. That's the reason why all the oil companies and stuff like that are in Texas because
He
if you have,
already he already a billionaire. He's still trying to save money. You see that?
of
You
course,
know, word. You know what I mean?
because yeah, that saving that money could make other employees who are making him money also millionaires, and that's how you can keep things going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's why people okay, I know that. So I
Yeah.
know it was a motive.
Yeah, so that's the whole deal with the startups and stuff like that. So, all the guys at Facebook and Google, they just tell you like, yo, bro, yo, man, just stay down and everything like that. We know you ain't got no bread, but we're gonna give you 1% or 2% of the company and stuff. So once we do the IPO is when they sell it. So when they sell it and everything like that, you might be the janitor, you get 50, $60,000 a year, but since you got stocks in the company, once they sell the company, you become a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? So even the Mavericks, Mark Cuban, that's what he did.
Right.
his son. That's what he did with his people. So you know what I'm saying? You know, you don't need to be the coach, you don't need to be the trainer. So far as you held it down, you know what I'm saying? If you were the one bringing in the merchandise, coming in every day to the
Hmm.
games, yeah, when he
Right.
sold it, he made sure he looked out for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that makes things a lot more easier because people don't just, you know, they have ownership. You got the salary and you got the ownership. You know what I mean? So, yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I mean? Yep.
So for you, it's
Yeah.
a financial move.
What do you call it? You're freezing up a little bit. What do you say?
Oh, I said for you, it was like a financial move.
Yeah, yeah, it was a financial move, and then also like
That's right.
lifestyle. It was also like lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like once you live in New York and you're paying rent for like 2 stacks, or you're paying 3,000, you go
Right.
to Texas, you
Right.
get 3,000. Like you know what I mean? You might be like a ball player type shit. You know what I'm saying? Girls come to your house, like you know they gotta text you, call you, and shit like that. You're downstairs,
Right.
but they gotta call you on the phone. Like you shout, I ain't gonna hear you. House too big. House too big. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then also, it's like it's a good strategic place. Like you know, you want to go to Vegas to go hang out, or you know what I'm saying, you want to go to Atlanta, or you want to go anywhere you want to go. It's like 2 3 hours. It's 3 hours from Texas over to New York. You know what I'm saying? And that's like across
Yeah.
the country. Yeah, yeah, man. You know what I mean? Yep. So you know what I mean? It's
That's
a
not
cool
bad.
spot. Yeah, but this is what happened though. Everybody kind of
Hmm.
figured out what I figured out.
Hmm.
So a lot of people came over there, and right now the cost of
Saturated the market.
yeah. So now the houses and stuff,
Yeah. You
yeah, the
know,
houses.
that's how it always be, man. You know, something can't be too good for too long before somebody jump on it and
Exactly,
they saturate the market. That's why you got to get in first before you get saturated.
exactly,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly,
You got to get
exactly.
in first, homie. Word,
Yeah,
man.
yep. So,
So, what you think about the Diddy trial? Let's talk
oh
about
man,
that.
dude, man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Diddy
yeah.
gonna
You
get
know, like, what's your perspective on it?
Diddy's gonna get life, bro. He's gonna get
Life in
life,
prison? That's
life.
what you think?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I
Why
think
does this
so
require the
just
life
like
sentence?
yeah, just like we were talking before the other day. Today, the judge finally gave the the jury instructions, and he
Hmm.
also like he broke it down. So for the average person who didn't understand certain like legal theories and everything like that, they broke it down. You know what I mean? So when it comes to like the S ST stuff, the traffic and stuff,
Right,
it's real simple. Like once there's force or there's coercion involved, then that makes it a crime. So when it comes to Diddy, the situation with the video, obviously you can see him forcing her and everything like that, and that's the main distinguishing factor. You know what I'm saying? Forcing people to do certain things. So I'll give you an example. You could be Tupac. You could be, dancing on the dance. You could be on the dance floor. A chicken come through, allegedly give you fellatio. You take her upstairs. You smash. Everything is cool. But then your homies come in, and then your homies come in. You walk out, and allegedly the homies smash. And then the girl says, "Hey, I wanted Tupac to smash, but I didn't want you guys to smash." And then she goes and she tells the police, and then you're Tupac, and
that's
then
yeah.
you come a convicted. You already know the term. And then, so fast forward to Diddy. You could be Diddy. You can have chicks and stuff like that come through, and you can have male escorts come through. And sometimes the girls may be attracted to the male escorts. But is there a possibility that the girls will not be attracted to the male escorts? In this situation, that's the case. This you had a situation where the girls were not attracted to male escorts, and you forced them to do it. So then that's where we have the S traffic and stuff. So that's pretty much, the part that people are finding hard to understand. But it's real clear cut. You know what I mean? And again, I also give you the core principle. The core principle is that consent can be given and consent can be withdrawn. So you can give consent 1,000 times And that one time that you say no and you're forced, that will be considered a crime. And that's what we have in this situation. You know what I mean?
So, in a nutshell, you're saying it was all forced. That's your
Yes. Yeah, yes.
yeah,
And then, okay, on Jane's part too, don't forget, the definition is fraud, force, or coercion. Okay. So when we talk about the fraud part, listen, I like I even told you that what do you call it? My father's from Africa, and everybody, in fact,
mhm,
knows this. At a certain point in time, within the past 20 years, you've gotten an email from some dude in West Africa trying to scam you. All right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't everybody's got it. Okay, so let me break it down to you.
uh-huh. All right.
Anytime they scam the women, or even anytime they scam the guys, if the FBI is able to track them, they come and get them in what do you call it, in Africa. All right. It's no different. It's called romance scam. It's no different. So let's fast forward to Diddy's situation. In Diddy's situation, you tell Jane, oh no, today we don't have to do the freak off. It's your birthday, this and this and that. Just fly down to Miami. And then she's flying down in Miami, and when she's in the plane and stuff like that, they texts her, "Hey man, I got Sean or Antoine over here
Mhm.
waiting for you." Now, so what did he do? He had her cross state line, and he defrauded her. And he defrauded her, and he also used financial control and whatnot to make her do those certain things. And that's pretty much what they're saying. You know what I mean? So those are the elements. And so I think it's gonna be. I think it's very very clear. It's very very clear now. People are beginning to there's a reason why in America when you commit an offense, the what do you call you're allowed to have an attorney. You're allowed to have an attorney because they know the average person can understand the law, man. So I don't know why all of a sudden people want to be experts. Like, oh, that's not a Rico's this and this and this and that. And like I told people the other day, and I mean the feds just
Mhm.
hits the Albuquerque police with the RICO. And you know what they were doing? They were basically they were running a DUI scam that was targeting minorities. That's what the feds were saying. So the feds were saying, "Hey, these guys, man, they were just conspiring to just target up just like minorities, black and Latino people, and just give them more DUI." So do you consider the police as people who move mad kilos and drugs and stuff like that, or the people who like represent the mafia and stuff? In some ways, people do, but I'm just saying, like, in reason, in being reasonable in general circumstances, of course not. You know what I'm saying? The police and the people are supposed to catch the RICO, so that just lets you know how big of a spectrum it can be used. But people just been watching too many movies.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So, this Diddy is in charge of a criminal enterprise.
Right.
Okay, right. So, shouldn't a criminal enterprise consist of more than one person?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
If you're running a whole criminal
Yes,
enterprise,
yes, yes. You're
should
correct. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So where are the other co-conspirators in
The
this
other
case?
co-conspirators. So the other
Yeah.
co-conspirators in this case are KK, Cockler Crom, D Rock, who's Damian Butler. What do you call it? Jonathan Perez. So to answer your question, the
Hmm.
co-conspirators are the personal assistants, the security guards, and then what do you call it? The executives that help them. Now, the question that everybody has been asking is, how come those people haven't been arrested and
Yeah.
prosecuted?
Yeah.
Well, guys, I mean, don't forget, especially with taxpayers' money, you got to go after the kingpin. So you go after the kingpin, you try the case, you see where the jury is at, you see where your mistakes are, this and this and that, and then you go after the other guys. But if Diddy is found innocent, why would you use taxpayer money to go after the foot soldiers? You understand what I'm saying? So it's a legal strategy. And of course, why would they want to try? They have 4 or 5 people. Why would they want to try four different cases at the and have to have four different cases going on at the same time. No, focus on one case, get that done. Once Diddy's convicted, the other guys and stuff like they already know. They will just take a plea. You don't even have to take them to trial. They will know it's over for them.
Mhm.
They will know it's over for them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because they'll be so yeah, so that's the answer to that.
So they go after the top.
Of course. Everybody
Makes
knows that.
sense. Yeah, makes sense. Go after the top first.
Yeah, and then see how it shakes out, and if you win, then you
Right.
go after the other guys and stuff like that, and you correct your mistakes from what you learned in the first one, and then you go after the other guys. And if you lose, please save the American taxpayers' money and not go after the other guys, even though it's easy charges. Like those other guys and stuff, those very easy charges, but. And then like I said, they're focused on this case. This case took 7 weeks. Why would they have D-Rod's case going on, KK's case going on, Diddy's case going on? Then they got to do this. Then they got to go to deliberate. No, it doesn't. It's not enough time. You know, it's not enough time. So far as it doesn't pass the statutes of limitations, which we realize that it's not going to pass the statutes of limitations. So they got enough time. You know what I mean? Don't forget when they first announced that Diddy was indicted. What did the guy keep on saying? This investigation is ongoing. There will be others. There will be others, and that was to let
Yeah.
them know, hey, you can decide to rock with us or rock with Diddy, but we're gonna come for you. You know what I mean? And don't forget, the anticipation of being arrested is worse than being
Yeah.
arrested.
Yeah.
That paranoia, yeah,
Because now you gotta watch your back. You don't know
yeah,
what when they coming.
yeah,
So
yeah.
another question. So when you think they're gonna have a verdict, like what's the time span? Cause this is day two tomorrow. Today gonna
Yeah,
be day two.
I believe they're probably going to have a verdict tomorrow, or most
In less
likely.
than a week.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. This is
Yeah,
clear cut,
definitely.
man. This is clear
Probably
cut
about
stuff.
yeah.
This is clear cut stuff. Now, just like you were saying before, and I always wondered that, but I think I've now figured it out. So first of all, before everybody knows, or we all beginning to figure out, is it all comes down to the jury.
Yeah. Jewelry. And we already see juror number 25 is, you
Ex-
know, already they said not playing by the rules. Now
Exactly.
what rules it is, we
Exactly.
on the outside looking in. We don't know. But they
Exactly.
passed a note to the judge.
Exactly. But what struck me was, first of all, that Juror 25 guy, he's the guy who's the professor in molecular biology, right? And he's also
Mhm.
a professor in neurology. When they first picked that guy, in my mind, I'm like, this dude, he's a professor. You know what I'm saying? He's just gonna go by the information. This don't look good for Diddy. You know what I'm saying? But then,
Right.
yeah, it didn't look too good for Diddy. So I'm like, is this the kind of? And then he also said in his what do you call it, jury what do you call it, interview, that
Hmm.
he was aware. Oh, he had seen the what do you call it? He had seen the freak. What do you call it?
The
Diddy
freak
beating
off?
up, no, Diddy beating up Cassie, the tape.
Okay.
You know how it was on like CNN and stuff like that. Most of the other jurors claimed they hadn't seen it. this dude said he
Yeah.
saw it. Because you gotta keep it
So
real.
that right there lets you know he's gonna tell the truth all the way.
Exactly. Or
Being, yeah.
or he's one of those guys where he's like, yo, man, he knows too much. Like I already know, I already made up
Hmm.
my mind.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna follow the instructions. Like, no even like don't even send me the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah. Think about it. If you answer the questionnaire and you say you ain't see the video, come on, man. Everybody don't see the video. That's a
exactly,
lie. That's a lie. So just tell the truth. And I'm pretty sure he did.
exactly.
So
But
that
also,
shows me that.
but listen to this
But
though. Also, in all fairness, whilst they've been doing, all these bloggers and content creators have been standing outside of the courthouse and stuff, and
Yeah, yeah.
random people pass by and they ask them what they're doing over there, and they said, "Oh, I'm doing the Diddy case." People usually go like, "Who's that?"
But
So I'm like, if people, if nah, I don't know if these people. Nah, don't get me wrong. These people could be tourists. They could, this and this and this that. They could not be like real New Yorkers, but I was a little bit
mhm,
surprised. Like, how can you be around that area and not even know, like, yo, Diddy's on trial? Like, that's what people are over there for. But
right.
it's a possibility that, like, you know what I mean? Like, since we like hip hop and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? We
Hmm.
might think, first, okay, I put it this way. It's one thing to say you don't know about Diddy, and it's another thing to say you haven't seen the video. There's a
It's all
possibility.
over. Yeah, it's all over the mainstream news. Channel
Exactly.
2, Channel 4. It's all over the NBCs, the CBS. Every morning you wake up to them give you updates to it. So, you
But you
know.
know, but you know what gave me a good indication? So as soon as the jurors get together, they have to vote for one person to be the captain. And the person who they voted to be the captain, who's going to be corresponding with the judge, was the
Mhm.
investment banker analyst. And as soon as they voted him, I said, "Oh shit!" They want to go through this shit methodical. You know what I'm saying?
Investment bankers.
Yeah, the investment banker analyst. He's the guy he's the what I'm saying, he's the one who came and gave the notes. He's the one who came and gave the notes. You know what I'm saying? He's the captain. He's the captain. He's the one who's gonna come and read the verdict out in the court. So, but I'm just saying that in order for them to
Hmm.
pick him, it gives an idea of how the jury thinks. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody
Yeah,
voted. 'Cause this is their first time. This is their first time talking to each other. You know that, right?
yeah, deliberation, like, really getting to know the perspective on, okay, you know, what y'all think. How was the case presented? Notes got to be taken, and this ain't no, 2 hours. Nah, we really gotta deliberate, and we
Exactly.
gotta agree to disagree
That
for hours, days, until we come to one conclusion as a unit.
right.
As a unit, and already day one, you can see they pass the notes to the judge, like somebody's not falling in line with the
Exactly.
rules. Somebody's having a hard
Exactly.
time
Exactly.
paying attention, or hard time following the rules you set.
Exactly. So you
So
already know this is
specific
from the plate.
guidelines were set for Diddy.
Exactly. No. Okay. So no. Yeah. So okay. I have to say I disagree. So that's another thing too that I was trying to explain to people. These jury guidelines, it's not like something that's like secretive in like the judge's brain that he like reveals tonight. No. That's available. Everybody can see it. It's just that he has to like break it down, explain it, and then officially tell them. It's like you're going to get married. You already know what the pastor's going to say, but
Right.
the pastor still has to say it for it to be official. Same thing, you know what I mean? So these guidelines and stuff,
Hmm.
it wasn't something that was made up. It was already there. You know what I mean?
It was already set.
It was already set, man. So it's the feds. It's the feds,
Right.
bro. It's the feds. It's already set. It's already set. And so in fact, I think let me see. I have a copy of the guidelines if you want to check it out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let me on your channel, we just don't talk smack, you know what I'm saying? We gotta show the paperwork, you know what I mean? Talk is
Got
cheap.
paperwork, got
Yeah,
receipts, and all that.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah, you know what I mean? On your channel, we gotta do the paperwork and keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Talk is cheap. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna put nothing on
Mhm.
big jacket or say anything that we can't prove. You heard?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Loud and clear.
Can you
Yeah,
see the screen?
loud and clear.
You see the screen? Let me.
Huh?
Can you see my screen? Let me see. So yeah, you gotta. It's something should pop up on your side that said that should make me present, and then let me see. Yeah. Are you able, let me see. You able to see that?
Let me see,
Yeah, is it working? Let me try one more time. See, stop
oh,
screen.
okay. I see
You
it.
see it?
Yeah, put it back.
All right,
Yeah, I just seen it.
all right. I got it back. Uh huh. Let me know when you can see it.
Spin. Yeah.
You can see it?
So what's that? The United States of America, yeah, versus Sean Holmes.
Okay.
It's not
So yeah, so this is the verdict sheet. This is the verdict sheet that they're gonna be using. So you
right.
see right, right count one, racketeering conspiracy. Then the questions they gotta answer. And after that, you go to the kidnapping, the arson, the bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, S blah blah blah. Then the P stuff, the drug distribution, blah blah.
Acts involving transportation for use of prostitution.
Yeah,
Acts involving drug distribution. Any
yeah,
finding defendant guilty of count one. The pattern
yeah,
of racketeering activity.
yeah. You know what I mean? So, but yes, but in
So
order
how
to
much
get
counts he got there?
so to be honest with you, I think they probably got Diddy about, let me see, at least about 15 times. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the counts itself is like 5 counts. But so yeah, so you got count one, let me see. Count one, count two, count three, count four, count five. Yeah, 5 counts. But after on each count, they got different, you know what I'm saying? So you see on count one, you got kidnapping, arson, bribery, and all of these ones. So this is why I said he could get life. You know what I mean? Because for instance, you just need if you decided, listen, if the jury decided that by Diddy giving Cassie drugs and Jane drugs, those two charges of the drug distribution is enough for them to meet the
Right.
RICO. Yeah, 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 yeah. And that alone, and once you meet the RICO and stuff like that, then that's life right there, my brother. Not to talk about the other sex, the Man Act and all the other stuff. But here's the thing, though. Here's the most important part. So the most important part, you know, the breakdown. This is the breakdown. You know what I'm saying? This is what the judge wanted to give them. No, not this one. Uh, oh, here. I'll show this also. So this is where people were getting the information about when the feds were making it easy. See right here? The government understands the court's desire
Mm-hmm.
for streamlined instructions. With that in mind, the government has suggested ways to streamline those instructions. Specifically, the government has removed instructions from the charges relating to one, attempted kidnapping under both California and New York law, two, attempted arson under California law, and three, aiding and abetting of sex trafficking. The government is no longer planning to proceed on these theories of liability, so instructions are no longer necessary. So basically, what had happened was, just like they're saying, the judge wrote to them and was like, "Yo, man, these guys, man, like, all these charges and everything, like they're doing, like, they're not really going to understand it. So is there a way like you could like streamline it a little bit? So just like we were looking before, where you have the distribution and the possession and stuff. When they say kidnapping, they could be like, yo, you kidnapped them, or you attempted to kidnap them, or you conspired to kidnap them. Those are three different charges. You know what I mean? And all of them have different elements. So that's why the feds were like, all right, we got you guys. We just make it a little bit simpler and stuff like that. So they let it Diddy live. You know what I mean? On the real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they didn't have to. You know what I mean? Now, but here's the most important part that I was going to show you, and this is what we need to spend time on, or people need to spend time on. Like I already, you see the jury charge. Yeah, this is where the meat is. Pause.
Meat and potatoes.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes. You know what I mean? So, he gives them the functional quote role of the jury. Basically, hey, keep your emotions to yourself. You know what I mean? Base it on the evidence. This and this and this and that. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. But then let's get down. I know what people want. They want the part where you get spoon fed. If you see this, do this. If you see that, do that. If you see this means that. That's what they want. They want,
Yeah.
yeah. So we got them. We got them. So, for instance, in fact, let's go. Okay, so let's at the end of the day, I think this is what's important for our people. To me, we got to be able to teach. So let's go with the distribution. Distribution. Okay, let's go with distribution first. Let's go with that one. Let's see. Okay, all right. Okay, let's see. Distribution. Did I spell that right? Okay, so why is only one? Okay, yeah, there we go. Five of them. There we go. So let's pull that up. Aha. Let's see. Okay, so
Hmm.
let's tend to distribute. Let's see if we can go to the main. Aha. Here we go. So look at this, my brother. And let me go up a little bit because
What
we
distribution
wanna.
means
We
actual
want,
movement of the clock.
yeah. I was gonna scroll up a little bit so they can see the title. Real quick. Aha. Okay, let's go up to the first one. Let's go up to the first one. What's the title again? Okay, well, let's go down and solve this one because so much stuff. But like the one you're reading, let's solve that one
Uh,
first. So you're reading um okay. So you're reading this one. The word distribution. The word distribution means actual, constructive, or attentive transfer. To distribute simply means to deliver, to pass over, or to hand over something to another person, or to cause to be delivered, passed on, or hand over to another.
right.
Distribution distribution does not require a sale. Next, what does possessive with intent to distribute mean? I will begin with the concept of possession. The legal concept of possession may differ from the everyday usage of the term. So let me explain it in some detail. Actual possession is what most of us think of as a possession, that is, having physical custody or control of an object, as I possess this pen. If you find that an individual had a controlled substance on his or herself, therefore you might find that he or she had possession of it. You get that? However,
Yeah.
However, a person need not have actual physical possession, that is, physical custody of an object, in order to be legal possession of it. If an individual has the ability to exercise substantial control over an object, even if he does not have the object in his physical custody, and that person has the intent to exercise such control, then he is in possession of that object. This is called constructive possession. Now, I'll give you an example. Puff is at the airport. They're about to board the plane. They come through. Who they see with him? They see Brandon Paul. They search Brandon Paul. What they find? Find some coke, some drugs. They ask Brandon Paul on the stand. Brandon Paul, man, the coke and stuff you found on you, who was it for? It was for Puff. Puff, you had constructive possession over the cocaine. You're Puff's lawyer. To that you say what?
Okay. Okay. If you're Puff lawyer, what do you say?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. You
Exactly.
know,
So
what
that
would you say?
that
You
charge is
know,
easy. That's an
yeah,
easy. Yeah,
yeah,
that's an easy
because
one.
now, that's hearsay. Because he could say, because Puff could say that's not mine. So, you got to prove that I'm moving the substance for Diddy. You got to prove that.
Where
He
where
was
where where,
called.
where did you get that in where we wrote where we read? Where did you see that part? Because we just read the rules. Where did you get that part?
No, I'm just saying from my
No, no,
perspective.
no. You see, you see,
I
you see,
understand that,
you see
but
what
uh,
we're talking about. We are in the court of law. You're in the room, and they
right.
just read you the instructions, and they told you this is what you need to follow.
Yeah, okay, cause you're talking about two different settings. Now you're talking about an airport trying to get through customs or whatever, and you're talking about and we have a part, a freak off where they could bring in the drugs, or so it's a great area for me. We're talking party where they could have their personal use. So I don't see that
Okay,
as a
so
drug supplier.
okay,
A
well,
drug supplier is
do
somebody
you
who
see?
don't, you
Do you
know,
see that possession?
yeah, for the party goers, you know.
Okay,
Now, I get what you're saying. They come into the party and the
Diddy's
stuff
giving
is
them
already
distribution.
laid out for them on the table. It's already supplied.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's already supplied. It's already laid out for them
Yeah,
to just
yeah.
indulge.
And then also, they're also saying that don't forget, Cassie and Jane and also said that Diddy gave them the drugs. That's what they said.
Yeah,
Hand
yeah,
it over,
yeah, yeah. So,
hand strictly it
it,
over.
it,
Uh-huh.
yeah, if anything, they will get him on drugs. But yes,
Okay,
I can see that.
okay.
Now let's go to the other one, sex trafficking and all that.
You want to go to that
Uh,
one?
the Punisher said that how can I be trafficked if I'm in the same city? I'm performing the services. So you got one of the sex traffickers saying I wasn't trafficked.
Well, nobody ever said he was. Nobody ever said he was trafficked.
Yeah. So how can he
What,
prove
what,
sex
what,
trafficking?
what, what we did say was he violated. He was what do you call it? He violated. He was
The
involved in prostitution, the Mann Act.
the Man Act. Yeah, that's something new.
That's not
Act.
something new.
So you trying to tell me? So okay, you trying to tell me? Because I used to do this back in the days. So you trying to tell me that let's say I'm talking to a girl over the phone and she's from a whole different state, and you know I I fly her in, or I send her Uber or whatever to get her from a whole different state to come see me. Is that a crime?
You and then did you have sex with her?
Yeah, it's a long distance relationship.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You
Okay, so
know,
watch this.
yeah,
Watch
I'm
this.
talking to her. I'm
Watch
talking
this.
to her, and she's in a whole different state. So we arranged to meet. I, I send arrangements to go get her. She
Okay.
come, and we is that a crime?
Yes, that's a crime. And here's
Come
my
on, man.
evidence. Here's my
How,
evidence.
how
Here's, yeah,
the
here's my
hell is that
evidence.
a crime?
Here's my
And I've
evidence.
been doing all guys been that's called a long distance relationship.
Here's my evidence, bro. Here's my evidence.
Now, that right there is a long distance relationship. That ain't no crime, man. If obviously I gotta meet you somehow.
Yeah.
You know, either
What do
I'm gonna go to you or you're gonna come to me.
what do you call it? I gotta
Uh-huh.
let me I think let me see if I can change. I'm gonna change my screen because I want to show you.
All right,
I'm gonna explain something so you can get this one real quick.
all right. Let me see. Okay, let
Aha,
me know you. All right, there
I'm
you
ready.
go.
I'm ready.
Uh, Add to the stage.
Can you see?
Go. Was that a YouTube video?
Yeah, it's two.
Okay,
It's 1 minute 20 seconds. Yep.
yeah, turn it down and speed it up if anything, cause I ain't trying to get written. Cause I got copywritten yesterday for like a video or like a clip I was showing in my stream.
Okay, so maybe I should just play the audio then. Or
Yeah, you speed. Yeah, put it like 125 speed
okay.
and get over the copyright.
Let me see how do I speed it up.
Yeah, yeah,
Settings.
yeah. See if you could. Yeah, playback speed.
Okay, one.
Yeah. Just speed it up to like 25 or something. Yeah, 125 would be good.
All right.
Yep.
So here's the answer. Here's your answer right here. Let me know if you can hear
Congress
it.
passed the Mann Act, also called the
Yep.
White Slave Traffic Act. The legislation made it illegal to transport or conspire to transport any woman or girl across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, debauchery, or any immoral purpose. The act was
Pause right
ostensibly
there.
passed to
Pause
combat
it.
forced prostitution, but
Illegal to transport or conspire to transport any woman or girl across straight lines. So, and that's cause Diddy sent a text to Cassie like, are you ready for a night of debauchery?
Oh,
You know, that's
that's
exactly it.
my brother. When I said he's going to do life, I meant it to. I didn't say
No,
it
no,
like out of hate. I'm just saying
no,
it based on the facts, just the facts, just the facts. You know what
no,
I'm saying?
no. But I don't think this warrants life, bro. He's just a freak. You know,
I,
illegal to okay, I get that
I agree with
prostitute,
you. I
debauchery,
agree.
or any moral purposes
I agree with you. But
conspire to transport. So
I
you
agree with
said
you.
they're
But
gonna,
here's the problem.
yeah,
Here's
yeah.
the situation.
So
Let me
so what you
explain
said
something.
they're gonna convict him on the Mann Act. If anything, if he get convicted for the trafficking, it's gonna
No,
be for this Mann Act right here,
no, 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 no,
illegal to transport or
no, no, no.
conspire.
You're confused. You're confusing the two. But let me explain something. So he has three charges. The Man Act one is actually so it's a whole different charge. That's is separate from the sex trafficking one. But let me play this video real quick. So I want you to understand the concept real quick. But you've got the definition over there real quick. You see the debauchery and you see the immoral purpose over there. Okay, so let's watch this real quick.
the act's broad language resulted in it being used for what some considered moral, racial, and political purposes. Notable people prosecuted under the act included Charlie Chaplin, Chuck Berry, and Jack Johnson, the first African-American world heavyweight boxing champion.
You know Jack Johnson? You ever heard of his story?
Nah,
Okay, so that's what they just said. Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was the first African American heavyweight champion. He was the first African heavyweight champion in 1910. He was the guy before Diddy. He was one of them. He was the first. He was the first black man to become an international baller. Like as you can tell, it's like being Mike Tyson back in the day and stuff like that. He had
mhm.
first. Hey, I'm gonna explain that one real quick, but I'm letting you know why they brought him over there. But watch. Guess
In
what?
Gabarty versus United States, the United States Supreme Court was asked to interpret the reach of the act as it related to criminal conspiracy. Jack Gabarty and Louise Rolfe weren't married to each other, but from time to time, they traveled together to other states to have sex. Gabarty bought their train tickets, and Rolfe voluntarily went on each of the trips. They traveled together, but without the help of anyone else. Both Gabarty and Rolfe were convicted in federal court of conspiracy to violate the Mann Act. The United States Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit affirmed the convictions. The United States Supreme Court granted cert.
Case closed. So now I hope that
Yeah,
answered your question.
yeah. So like now, but
Uh-huh.
they gotta actually, you know,
Uh-huh. I'm listening. They gotta actually what?
they gotta actually,
Uh-huh.
talk about the Mann Act and bring it up. I mean, the jurors, that could be in the deliberation.
Yeah,
If they got
they
that
know
right
about
there,
that. They
yeah,
know
if they,
about
yeah,
that. That
yeah, if
that
they
was
got that right there, then they could actually prove it because Diddy's a sex freak, and that that falls right into his lap.
exactly.
That Mann
If you
Act
like, you can
thing.
share my screen real quick so I can show the paperwork on another one. But yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. Because I moved to another, yeah, I think when yeah. But yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. So, the situation where you're talking about the girl and everything like that, when I answered your question, that's what it is. It's called the Mann Act. You violated the Mann Act. So allegedly, you were just giving an
Yeah.
example. You were just giving an example. You didn't
So
violate the Mann Act. But
yeah,
in
he did.
Jabardi,
Yeah.
and Jabardi versus United States, just like the case said, they moved from train to they were in the train, they went from different states to just have sex, and it violated the Mann Act. You didn't have to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
He didn't have to do
definitely.
anything. Yeah,
You know,
that's
yeah,
just the definition. You
that's
know
yeah, that's some man act stuff.
exactly. But here's my point, though. My point is, in cases like this, it lets the average American know that these kind of crazy laws are on the books. And once the average Americans know
Yeah,
that the crazy laws are on the books, then now we can start holding our Congress people and the senators and all these people and stuff accountable to try and change the laws. But then it seems like people don't even know that these things are on the books. So my
nah,
whole thing is that when I was talking to you about Jack Johnson, it's like, yo, if you're a baller and you're Diddy and stuff like that, yo, man, first thing you got to know is who are the first ballers who came before me and how did they take them down? And if you already know that, and you know how they took Jack Johnson down, then you just know not to do too much. So I'll just give you the quick story about Jack Johnson. You could go do your own research, or everybody could go do their own research. Jack Johnson was married to a white woman legally. He went in a train with her to another state. As soon as he got there, they arrested him on the Mann Act and put him in jail because he was doing too much and he was beating all the white boys and stuff like that. Listen, man, when Jack Johnson won up the world championship that Jack Johnson was going, when he was beating the white guy and they're about to knock him out, everybody in the crowd rushed the ring to try and catch Jack Johnson to beat him because it was the first time the white boy had ever lost the heavyweight championship. So it's like we gotta know our history so we know to see certain things, you know what I mean, ahead of time so we can know how to move. And the thing that I hold Diddy accountable with is I saw a video where Diddy was going to his office and I saw a picture. You know what the picture was? The picture was of Jack Johnson. So I know he know about that man, unless he was just using it for fashion. Because if you
pause.
notice, yeah, unless you were just using it for fashion, which based on the testimonies that we're getting, he likes to look at a lot of guys. So,
So you mean to tell me that? You mean to tell me that he had a picture of Jack Johnson,
yeah,
and
right
Jack
before he put his
Johnson went
office.
down for the Mann Act?
Yeah, and then he's going
That,
down for
that
the minute. Yeah,
ain't that crazy? Cause now think about it. You know, we're all guilty of the Mann Act.
I'm not good to the man.
If I see it, if I see it way, I mean, back in the days when I used to,
Nah, I'm
before the
not good to
social media,
that.
before the social media is when I used to have to, I used to be in the chat line talking to girls from different states, and like that. But the IGs, the internet girls, the IG hoes, they be flying out, and so they really got to clean it up then, cause you're gonna take Diddy for that. What
Oh
about the
yeah,
ones who they meet on IG?
the IG gospel be flying out and stuff like that. The same way
Yeah,
people are still moving cocaine
yes,
across the border, so it don't
yeah,
mean
yeah,
nothing.
yo.
You
No,
do-
I'm just saying,
yeah,
you can't
until you
be
get caught up.
selective. You really
Yeah,
got to drain the swamp.
of
Don't
course.
just
Listen,
punish Diddy, drain the
let me tell
swamp.
you something. Let me tell you something. Oh yeah, they're going, and that's another thing too. The feds don't really want to drain the swamp unless you force
Right,
them.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
they
force
just want to
them to do
send a
something.
message.
Yeah,
They want
you
to
do something
grab the
stupid.
top guy
Yeah,
and just make an example out of him, and
that's it. Send a
that's
message.
it.
So it's like, yo, you
Now,
find that chicks and stuff like that, you better just make sure the chick don't complain. Because once she
yeah,
complains, it's a
yeah. Now
wrap.
think about it. If Diddy wasn't famous, if Diddy had no money, would this have been an issue? No. You
If
know what
Diddy
I'm saying?
wasn't, it just like it happened in Jabardi versus this thing, like I just showed you, man. Those guys are
Right.
not famous.
So that's why this is a life lesson. When you got
Exactly.
money, you humble
Exactly.
yourself. You don't do
Exactly.
debauchery with money, because at the end of the day, always gonna. This is a sue me generation, the sue me movement. Everybody want to sue everybody, because if that's the case of the kidnapping, why didn't y'all go to the police to get a conviction? Where's the police report? Now it comes out in a civil suit, and so it wasn't that serious to the point where they wanted to put the man behind bars. Because if it happened decades ago, then but I guess the lifestyle and the money, it's like a trade-off. You take the good with the bad, and the lifestyle would make a lot of females just trump their morals. Of course, you're dealing with powerful men, and from time to time he gonna do some debauchery, and it's just a whole culture that they got used to. And once you get cut off, that's when the disgrace is.
You see
And
Hugh Hefner?
huh?
You see Hugh Hefner?
Say it again.
I say you see Hugh Hefner.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Because nobody complained and nothing happened. And he's dead now. You know what I mean?
Hugh Hefner had a lot of minors too. You
Yeah.
know what?
Well, I don't know
What
about that though, but
meaning? Yeah, like I don't know, like 19. To him it's going to be minors because he old as hell. So anything under,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
So
all the girls coming over there, nobody complained, nothing. Everything was cool. He even put it on TV, even had a reality show and everything like that. And he made it look good and he died. And that's that.
and what Diddy mistake was him thinking that he could assault Cassie, the hotel, buy the tape, and think people is not gonna have more copies because Diddy thought he was the only one with that copy. Come and find out, the person he bought it from sent the copy to his wife, and he had multiple copies. So Diddy was naive to think that he was the only one with the footage, and he destroyed it. He was the only one, and it still got out.
So let me explain that part too, because we gotta give Eddie Garcia credit and his boss. In reality, the what do you call it? When Diddy gave them the 100,000, they really did delete the video off the server, and they gave him the only copy. The problem was Israel Flores, the guy who was there the first day when the whole incident happened. When the
Yeah,
incident happened and stuff like that, because he wanted to flex to his wife that he saw Diddy and Cassie, he had recorded the video footage on his cell phone, and that's how it got out because he had the copy.
yeah,
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 and he didn't want the 100 grand. He's now a police officer in LA. When they brought the money back and they wanted to give him a cut, he didn't want the cut. And Diddy had tried to give him the money before that, before they even got to Eddie. Eddie was like the second person they tried to get, they tried to bribe. You know what I mean? So it was the Israel guy who had the footage, and he was the one that had the footage out. But so the Eddie guy and all the copies that they had and stuff like that, that was really the what do you call it, the one copy they gave to Puff. So it wasn't like they were trying to like backdoor Puff or anything like that. They were like being legit for real.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like, you heard about the Fat Joe case?
yeah. You were telling me about it. You were telling me about it. You know what I'm saying? I was asking you how come you hadn't been
Yeah,
arrested and you're
yeah.
fumbling.
Okay, that was you, right? Yeah, he next, bro. I'm telling
Oh,
you, they,
yeah.
it's like a target, bro. That's why, like I was saying, man, you got money, man. I mean, wealth, fame, notoriety. You can't be out here doing what Diddy do, doing Russell Simmons do. You can't do what they do because this new generation here, they don't care about, keeping things a secret. They all about exposing you and getting millions. They don't want to work. They work is doing what Cassie did. Expose him. Next day, he gave her what, 20 million? Come on, man. You get rich overnight.
But
See,
in Cassie's defense, don't forget he asked him, "Hey, I'm about to put this book out and whatnot. Do you want to buy the rights?" And Diddy said no. So Diddy called her bluff, and that's when she filed the civil lawsuit. And then Diddy settled. You know what I'm saying? So you see, and then he settled for $20 million. She asked for 30. He just paid her the money, and then all of this wouldn't have happened. And that's the difference between Hugh Hefner, and probably all those other guys and stuff, because those guys would have nipped it in the butt. Even people like, the president and stuff like that, then they pay hush hush money and stuff like to certain people and stuff so that they make acquisition. Hey, we just settled the thing, boom, boom, boom. But the black man, the average black man, too much ego, trying to be petty. You know what I mean? This and this and this and that. And then here we are.
It's a life lesson, man. Even if
Listen.
like cause Diddy thought he had friends. Everybody at the party cheering him on. Yeah, yeah. Where they at now? When or when you need them. I mean, everybody knew Diddy. The minute he went down, everybody, whew, this sense itself. That's when you really gotta look like, damn, who really for me? Because of course, when you're winning, everybody gonna be at your side. But when you really need people, you're gonna really see who is really down for you.
Yep.
At the end of the day, Diddy had a lot of bad karma. I admit that. But that man act is something that we overlook. I even overlooked. Understand that, that could be grounds. Yeah, they could say the man act. They pull it up, explain it, and be like,
let me tell you something.
That's what they do on IG.
I represent what do you call it, man? I represent a bunch of athletes and stuff like that. As soon as they get their check and stuff, I pull them to the side.
They need pulling.
Yeah, I give them a little pep talk and stuff. I let them know what's up. And I
For
say,
real.
I say you can do what you want to do, though, but I'll just let you know what's up. A lot of them, because maybe I have an African accent and stuff, that they didn't take me serious and stuff. And then, right now that this thing is popping up and stuff, they, yo, this is what you were saying. I was like, yeah, man, you know what I mean? Yo, this, send me 100,000. You know what I'm saying? Because send me something. I know how to save you.
Send me a bag. Yeah, because look, if you look at the ball players, the ball players, they getting taken from, cause I get it. You like the fast females, and that's the fast ones who gonna take you for all you got. Cause Shannon Sharp, he went through the same situation. He was bribed. He was ready to give up $4 million to the girl, but I think she wanted 10. Come on, man.
Crazy.
So you already lost. The minute you negotiate, they ain't gonna take that offer. They're gonna up the price.
Of course.
And even when they up the price and you don't pay, guess what? You exposed anyway.
Exactly.
So either you're gonna pay and I shut my mouth.
Yeah.
Or you don't pay and I'll.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all you have to do is just make sure she just fly herself to you.
Yeah, and then you got to learn to, when you go to their house, because we, how you think Shannon Sharp was exposed on the recordings, and he went into the trap. Because when you come to their settings, guess what? They got the hidden camera, the hidden audio, so they play the role. They are not gonna say anything incriminating because they know I'm recording. So I'm going to play my role. You are going to say the incriminating stuff because you're being recorded. Right. So you're walking into a trap.
Exactly.
These are the stuff that if you got fame, you got to notice.
Of course.
It's some hidden, like even with the text messages, Shannon Sharp sending crazy text messages, and that's being screen recorded. Your phone calls is being recorded. So you say anything crazy is being recorded and it's going to be used against you.
Of course. That's why you should be dating women that have something to lose more than you.
Oh my God. Say that again. Man.
No, if I'm dating, listen, let me tell you something. If I'm dating, I'm 800 million. You know where I'm at? I'm like the king of Saudi Arabia chasing his daughters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, some different bloodline, you know what I'm saying? With Miss India, India 2012 type stuff. Like, yo, man, you guys tripping. tripping. You know what I mean? Tripping, Cassie. Who's Cassie?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For real.
you know what I'm saying? Cassie's
Like,
Ryan Leslie's girl. That's like, you know what I mean? Ryan
I'm
Leslie.
like, Cassie's alright, Daphne's alright, but I ain't going down for them.
Nah, hell no.
You
Hell.
feel me? Hell no.
And you know what 50 said too, right?
So 50's loving it.
Oh, no, but you
50
know,
want
like,
payback.
you know,
50 want him to go to jail. You know why? That was 50 baby mother.
I know. Well,
So
supposedly.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you think 50
no,
want him free? No way.
but you know,
So you gotta want it through all the years. Like, why was 50 so angry with Diddy? Now we know why. 50 knew before us that his wife was
you know what 50 did
his
though.
ex-baby mother was involved in the freak offs.
You know what 50 did though? 50 did something that he revealed. I think you're missing that part. And I think so. 50 Cent Diddy a video. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, so that's what I'm about to break it down to you. So 50 said soon from Diddy and 50 they already had a relationship where Diddy was trying 50 was trying to
Yeah.
sign a bad boy, and because of Jimmy Henry, you already know that, right? So anyway, long story short, 50 said he hit up Diddy like, yo, like, you really like Cassie like that? That's your girl, this and this and that. And Diddy was like, yeah. And Diddy sent her a video of Cassie getting pulled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said this on, what do you call it, the Breakfast Club. He said it on the Breakfast Club. And Diddy hit him up like, yo, man, good looks, this and that. And ever since then, it's been up. So it makes sense to me. As soon as based on what Diddy's doing to AKA Jane, I was like, oh, okay. This is vendetta. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because Diddy was embarrassed of what do you call it? 50, yeah, for what 50 did, because 50 already knew that she was getting piped down a long time ago.
So
But 50 sent it to Diddy like on some shit like he was looking out type shit. You know what I'm saying? He ain't know Diddy was gonna take it personal.
yeah, but if I'm Diddy, how you get that video?
How you think that video? She's in the streets. She's in the streets of New York City, just like the way
Right.
Ryan Leslie started dating her. What you think?
Yeah, exactly.
Diddy was the first person to smash her?
Nope. Exactly. So you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that she was smashing prostitutes and escorts in
right.
front of her boyfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. And he took it up 10 levels. Like
Exactly.
you know?
That's the problem. And that's another thing too. The feds haven't said that Cassie didn't like it. They're saying there was a one or two times that she didn't like it. And that's what's in question. The other time that she liked it and all that stuff, good for you guys. We're talking about a time where she didn't like it, the time where she withdrew consent, the time where, you're beating her up, and the time where, all that time, you know what I'm saying? The time where she went to the club and she danced with Chris Brown, she came back and you whipped her ass, like that type of stuff. You know what I mean? The time she went to Prince's house, like that's crazy, man. Like he attacked that Prince's house with Prince's bodyguards trying to get him off. Like, first of all, let me tell you something. Off the top, even though there's no evidence, the fact that Diddy ran out in his towel like that and the way he treated her, you could tell that's not the first time. And if he did that outside over there in the public hotel, what do you think they've been doing behind closed doors? Yeah? What do you think is happening behind closed doors then, if that would happen over there?
Yeah, but that's not going to be in the case.
Yeah.
What happens behind closed door? They have to only talk about the evidence. Because we could speculate. That's speculation.
Right.
Like so we could speculate because I know what happened behind closed doors. They gotta take the GOAT. Diddy is a monster. And karma's. I think karma. Karma way of striking, man. Cause you gotta understand how he treat people, man.
Mhm.
You know, you know, I would have never ever do business with Diddy because his aura not attract me to him. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
He has a dark
Facts.
aura, man, dark
Facts.
aura, and you know, so like I'm 50-50 with it because I know he could become. I know
He's gonna
he's
be.
still famous, and he could not because you know the jury could be swayed with fame, you know, fame and fortune. I'm not gonna convict a famous man. People think like that. So, I'm 50-50 with it. But I know that they could say, uh,
Did you see the question they asked the judge?
nah, what's the question?
The question they asked the judge was, is drug distribution
Hmm.
also if Cassie or Jane asked Diddy for the drugs?
Okay. So
Now,
they want to
off,
know, is it drug distribution if they ask for it?
yes, off the top, in order for them to even ask that question, what do you think has
Yeah,
already happened?
the drugs got to be there in the first place
The
for them
what?
to ask for some of it. So,
You said the what has to be there?
yeah,
No,
the
no, no.
merchandise has to be there.
Nah, think about it again. Let me put it before they can even ask. No, no, nothing about the answer has nothing to do with the drugs. But I'm saying before they even ask a question like that, what do you think the jury? What level do you think the jury have gotten to before they even ask that question?
I don't know.
So the answer is they've already gotten to that. He's already in a bad boy. It's already what do you call it? In the RICO. Because that's why there's no need to go down the line. First of all, they've already got the distribution part. Like I already showed you the distribution part where passing over that that's easy to stand. So they've already passed that line all the way they where they he's done. Like a question like that already lets you know that they believe there's an enterprise. They believe that there's a racketeering conspiracy, and now they're going through the predicates and stuff like that. And then somebody was just asking that part to just get clarity and stuff like, yo, but how
Hmm.
about the part where like this and that, because they're trying to find a way to try and get him out or whatnot. But they've already established that you can. People already this is a clear cut case, man. This is a clear cut case. Very very
It's,
easy case.
what you think is a clear cut case for conviction?
Yeah, of course, man. Very very clear cut, man. You know what I'm saying? And then especially with the bribery part, what is he gonna say about the bribery?
As far as what the video of Cassie?
Yeah, I'm talking about hundred
Yeah,
thousand
but
dollars that he gave the security
yeah,
guards.
but okay, wouldn't that be simple domestic violence? Let's say
No, I'm saying the
drop
money,
every
the
no
bribery.
no yeah, but let's say they drop everything else and they only charge them with the. You think that's house arrest? Time served?
You said if they drop everything else and they charge him with what?
Remember, let's say they want to take the Cassie route, and because that's the only thing that actual footage of him assaulting Cassie,
Huh?
and they charge her with domestic violence when it's all said and done. That would just be house arrest. Time served, right?
Okay, and they don't charge him with the prostitution and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, just hypothetically, I'm just saying.
Time
Yeah,
serve. I don't know how the time serve is for
yeah,
the
because
assault.
DV domestic violence don't warrant a life sentence. But I'm just saying,
Of
because
course, not. The man doesn't. What do you
yeah,
call it?
yeah, because they could go with, or the jury could go any route. We don't know how they're gonna, you know, we
But
just don't know.
that's hypothetical. This one we do know what if they convict him. We do know what the sentencing guidelines are. We don't know what they're going to convict him of,
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
do know.
yeah. That we don't. Yeah, we don't know what they gonna, what they're
Exactly.
gonna. But
Yeah.
that's why it's a verdict watch. People
Exactly.
you don't know because that's why they got to deliberate.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know,
But if they do, he's going to get life, and there's nothing the judge can do about it.
or so, you could imagine that though. Diddy in jail. for life. Like
Yeah, I can imagine that.
I, I can't.
I can imagine
I
that.
can't
Yeah,
because I don't see no charges there that warrants life.
yeah.
What
Well,
charges you see there that warrants life?
if you come, it's so again, it's not about just one charge. If you get convicted, so of the prostitution, it's 10 years of one count, right?
So you tell me a man who who does prostitute could get more time than a murderer?
I don't know what the murdering sentencing guideline is.
Yeah, because sometimes somebody who murders somebody, let's say manslaughter, they get what, 20 years, sometimes 15. But manslaughter,
They get-
actual violent crime.
was that a
You know what I'm
plea
saying?
deal or was that the sentencing?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a sentencing or it could be a plea. You
Exactly.
know,
So we gotta
so
find out.
I'm just saying, like parties and freak offs and pride. You know what I'm saying? Like that is not something that's that's shunned upon. This place was founded upon prostitution, so it's like we don't take
Well,
that serious.
the answer is I blame the American people. The
Yeah,
American people are the people
yeah,
who are
we don't
supposed to
take
be
that
the
serious
least
because
accountable. Yeah, but since they don't know the
prostitution
law,
is legal in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, it's legal to be a prostitute. You don't get locked up out there. So it's like to me, what I mean? To me, it's like I don't see life. I don't see it that serious. You know what I'm saying? That's
well,
just my perspective, my little world that
yeah.
means nothing.
Well, okay. Let me explain something, and that's I think people also not understanding something. Each state in America is considered a country legally. You know that, right?
Each state is considered a country.
Legally,
Okay.
and I think people are not understanding that. So every governor and stuff like that is considered the president of that particular country. So that's why when you go to a state and you stay there for about 30 days or so, they tell you have to go and change you get a driver license or stuff, or you become a resident over there. So when you move from state to state,
Yeah,
that's
it's
it's the
different.
same, yeah, it's the same thing as going international. It's just that America, the United States, we've just decided that the federal government will protect the whole all 50 states in case there's a war. But everybody's doing their own thing. So that's why in Texas you can have an open gun, like in Walmart. You go to Walmart and stuff like that. People got the gats out, showing up the gats and everything. Girls, chicks, everybody.
Hmm.
Yeah, in New York, you do that. You already
Yeah,
know. That's 2 to 3
right.
years automatically. You know what I'm saying? But if you're all in America, different states, different rules. Certain states have abortion rights. Certain states
Yeah,
don't have
that's true.
abortion rights. So that's how it goes. You know what I mean? And I think people are forgetting that. So when you fly a chick to another place, the sex trafficking is no different from flying a girl from Somalia who is poor and bringing her to America. It's the same thing as flying somebody from California to Georgia. It's the same thing under the law. You know what I mean? That's why they have
Yeah,
it that way. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And
Yep.
you know, that's what we got to educate ourselves on.
Yes, but right now
But
things have changed. Like you're
course,
saying, things have changed with social media, and you can fly out this and this and this and this and that. So the laws haven't caught up. But then it's not the government's job to
to
correct the
tell
law.
you, it's
Yes, it's the
it's not their
people's
job to educate you. You gotta
exactly.
educate yourself.
Exactly. Because
You gotta educate yourself.
the government is supposed to keep enough tools over there to make sure that when people get out of whack, they can whip them back into check. But then the people are supposed to make sure that the government does have those tools to be corrupt and do what you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the American people. It's like, for instance, there's no reason why a bunch of black people can't move to a particular city and town and then have their own mayor and have their own police force and come up with your own laws. But they just don't want to
Exactly.
do that because it's just too much work. But then that's what Disney did. And that's
Yeah.
why the what do you call Eric Santos? I said Eric Santos, the Santos governor, and then we're trying to go after Disney because Disney put in the mayor of the town, and then they were getting all the tax breaks and everything like that. But they did that legally. You know, so I'm saying until the government had to be like, yo, y'all doing too much. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what it is. But you know, it's just laziness. And because
Right,
of
man. You
laziness,
don't
our
put in the
people will
yeah,
perish. That's what it
yeah,
is.
because they don't want to put in the groundwork. You know, they don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
the
yeah.
pain
Yeah. And
of
then when you try to
starting.
tell them to, they won't shut up. That's what I'm saying. Some of these ball players and stuff like that, when they try to tell them, oh yeah, I mean, shut up and listen. You know what I'm saying? Shut up and let me school you and give you the game. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but how about this person is doing this? This person, that person, they don't know any better. And it's only a matter of time.
You gotta learn, man.
You
You know,
gotta
no more
learn.
excuses, man. This it is the information age. So
Exactly.
we really gotta learn, like,
Exactly.
and do better. You
Exactly.
gotta learn and do better, man. That's why, this should
Exactly.
be a learning experience for Diddy also.
Of
Win or
course.
loss,
Of
like
course.
conviction or not. You
Of
gotta
course.
understand that. You got to humble yourself.
Of
But you
course.
got to do a lot of stuff in the 90s. You're like, oh, Diddy slipped away from that. Oh, you know what I mean? Diddy doing this to this person. So,
You know what's so
I
disgraceful?
understand that, every dog got his day,
You know what's so
and,
disgraceful? That find
and,
that very,
and,
very disgraceful.
and, sometimes that, you know, you got to sit down
Of course.
and, and I know he's prepared for any verdict, guilty or not. You got to prepare yourself for it. And if you're not guilty and you come back out here, what you're gonna do the same thing again? You got to change something. You know what I mean?
Of
That's
course.
where repent comes in. Repent is to not do it again, bro. So even if you in your jail cell and you talking to your God, whoever you serve, and say, "Yo, listen, man, if you get me out of this, I'ma change. I'ma just stick to the family. I'ma get back to my business. You know what I'm saying? Cause
How is it that when they
but
raided your house, instead of them to stop the free cuffs, they moved the free cuffs back to
yeah,
James'
but
house?
like all of that is not cool, man. At the end of the day, cause you getting old, you in your 50s, bro. What you gonna be doing that till you 80? At some point, the universe you got to take hints when it sits you down, humbles
Facts.
you.
Facts. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Humbles you. This is a humbling experience for him, for us, a learn experience for him, for us, you know? So we gotta take
Exactly.
life as a lesson, man. It's a lesson learned. Like, damn, bro, you doing all that. Even when it first came out, I'm like, damn, why I'm like, he got all the money. But I guess that intensifies and exposes they sexual debauchery, man. They're all like that. Russell Simmons, all of them. They're like a culture.
They say with the more money you get, it exposes your true who you really
Yeah.
are.
Exposes you who you really are. Yeah, that's true. And I believe that. 100% I believe that, man.
You know?
100%.
And
You know what I'm saying?
instead of some of our people to look at it objectively, yeah, again, it's very, very convenient. Oh, he was targeted. He was this. He was this. It's like, how did we get here?
You know,
They will
and,
never look at it objectively to try and educate the youth so that the youth and other people, or even just regular peers, can use it as a teaching moment. It's always excuses to play game. Oh no, it's not fair. This and that. Man, it's so sad. How come we couldn't? You were talking about the black person on the jury. It's so sad. We can't even get one person who's eligible who just has an address to live in New York to get on the jury. What?
like,
Are you kidding me, man? You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're not even in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's not even the game. And then trust me, here's another thing too. I mean, how many people? You know how much they get paid a day to be on the jury?
how much?
$50.
$50 a day?
$50 a day. You have to stop work and you have to $50 a day. You're living in New York or around the New York area, tri-state area. It's not easy. And thank
Right.
God most of the people and stuff like that depict the like older people. And that's another thing too. you have to have jury consultants. The jury consultants and stuff like that will break everything down to you. You know what I mean? So somebody who's 25 years old who has a job who has to come be on the jury right now, man, they're going to be pissed off at everybody because right now they got their bills and their rent and everything piling up, and they're getting $50 a day. Like, this is not good. You know what I mean? So all of those things can affect them. So that's why they decided to pick people who are retired and a lot more older, who in their 50s and 60s and stuff, who can afford to do it.
And who are well off.
Exactly. Who and these demographics and stuff like that don't favor our people. It's not because they're discriminating, it's just because we just don't meet those criteria. And another thing too is when they say a peer, a jury of your peers, they're not talking about a jury of your race.
Never. Of course not.
What you say?
Of course not. Never.
Exactly. Even in this case, even in this situation, like that, listen, man, like the lawyer, Diddy's lawyer said, he said, "Oh my God, this is the most diverse jury I've ever seen in my 30-year practice." You know what I'm saying? And then Diddy also just told the judge 2 days ago, "Yeah, you're doing one heck of a job." You know, so even they know they're getting the first trial ever.
Y'all put in the comments, man. What y'all think so far? Day one. This is man. I don't know, man. 50-50. They both presented, and we could have our insight, but at the end of the day, they're gonna come out with a verdict.
Did you see the part where
Wow.
the judge? You see where the part where the judge was pressing Diddy's lawyer at the closer?
No, what happened with that?
Well, you need to know. You need to know. So Diddy's lawyer did something illegal. He cheated.
He cheated?
Yeah, he did something illegal and he cheated.
Wait. Yeah.
He said some things he wasn't supposed to say, and he told the judge, he told the jury, he instructed the jury on how they're supposed to make their decisions, and both of them were illegal. And the judge, told him, "Hey, man, seeing what you did, you do that next time, I'm going to arrest you, and I'm about to call the jurors back, and I'm about to tell them everything that you just told them was illegal, and they're not supposed to listen to you, and this is the last time that's going to happen." And the guy was like, "Yes, sir." You know what I'm saying? And right then, being told that in front of the jurors and stuff like that, with the lawyer at the closing argument, you've lost all credibility. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're getting a little spanking. You know what I'm saying? A little spanking. It's not nice, man. You know what I'm saying? But I understood where Marco Filio was coming, because he was like, "Yo, man, this is Diddy's life. Hail Mary, let's get it." You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he put it put it all on the line. You know what I'm saying? So he could look at Diddy and be like, "Yo, man, the 10 million you gave me, bro, I could lose my license for this. Like, this 10 million ain't enough." Like, what you talking about? Talking about I put it on the line. You ain't see the judge discipline me? Talking about they're gonna arrest me for you? Like, what you mean? Like, it don't get no deeper than that. So I get Mark, but we're just talking about a court of law where everybody's supposed to be up and up. But that's going to have an effect on the jury as well, because you're talking about people having credibility, this and that, man. If your lawyer doesn't have credibility, then what do you have?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Well, at the end of the day, the jury pay attention to all of that.
Yeah. But a lot of people haven't caught that. They didn't catch that.
Everything is noted.
Yeah. I've seen it all, man. Yeah. And the funny part about it. Mark was like, "So you're gonna tell the jury on Monday, right? Because we're about to close." Because he wanted, he was thinking that they'll have the weekend to think about it. By the time they come on Monday, they've already made up their mind. And the judge was like, "No, I'm about to call them in the next 2-3 minutes and tell them now." So I said, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? I ain't go too well, Mark. Oh yeah, let me show you this part. Let me show you a part where Diddy's snitching. You know what I'm saying? Man, snitching. You know what I mean? Let me see if I got the paperwork. Let me see if I remember the docket, man. You know, Diddy, I saw you in the paperwork snitching, man. You know what I mean? Telling the feds what's up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Man, you know, we ain't gonna put nothing on your jacket if you can't show the paperwork. Yeah, here you go right here. I'm gonna let you read it, cause you know, yeah. You see right here? Right here, I'll let you read
Combs doesn't have evidence of either discriminatory effects or discriminatory intent based on his race. Combs offered up several examples of prominent individuals whom Combs believed may have violated. Wow. Combs offered up several examples of prominent individuals. Now, who are those prominent individuals he
I
offered
don't
up?
want to. I don't want to expose everything. You know what I'm saying? Course of war, because you know nobody on the internet's talking about this. But I've been. You see, all the paperwork that they put up, man, I go through them. You know what I'm saying? So I know what's going on. And then here's another thing too. Listen, let me explain everything to some people. The part where we're saying that Diddy's, you see this part where I said, you see, it says prominent black men. You see that part right here? You
Yeah,
see
I
that?
see it. Uh-huh.
You see where it says a clear case of selective prosecution? You see that?
Yeah.
Let me,
Hold up, you in the small part.
let me see if I can get.
Yeah, I see it.
You see
Yeah.
it? So make a long story short.
Has been individually deployed against a, yeah. I
Yeah,
see it.
yeah. So make a long story short, because you know I know people will read this, so I'll be the guy for them. I'll be the garbage man for them. Make a long story short, Diddy and his lawyers wrote to the judge saying, "Hey man, you know the main reason why the feds are coming for me and stuff like that because I'm a prominent black man. They're trying to get me." He even mentions what they call the Mann Act and all of this, Jock Jansen and all that stuff. I think I'll show you that part. I think he even mentions all that stuff. And then, you know, so you were saying, hey, you know, because I'm a prominent black man, they're coming after me, clear selective prosecution, they're targeting me, this and that. But here's, these are the people, other people are doing the same thing I'm doing. Here are the names, he had private investigators and stuff like that, sending footage, all that type of stuff of all these people and everything like that to prove that these people are doing that. Now, what do you call it? Yeah. The point
Yeah, yo.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yo.
yeah.
Hey, hey, I gotta make a phone call real quick, but let me
Hold on.
go, man.
Yeah.
I
Make
gotta
that.
make a phone call. I see somebody calling my line.
All right. We'll finish tomorrow or some shit.
Yeah, definitely, man.
All right, man.
Make this call.
All right. Peace.
I appreciate you, man. We're gonna chop it up, you know.
All right, man. Later.
Yeah, let me make this call real quick. It's probably important. Uh, yo, I gotta end the stream, y'all. Let me make a call real quick. You know, I see somebody hitting my line. It's like 12 o'clock, so you know, them calls is be important. It's kind of late. So I don't like when people call me late, you know, it's never good news. So I gotta go, y'all.